Hell yes! I have not touched this game in so long. How loud is that? Not loud at all. Sign me up. Sign me the fuck up. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. No, this is the palate cleanser I needed. Man, this is a small island. So having come back from my trip pretty recently, it's still been on my mind more than I'd like. You know, visiting people and kind of deconstructing and teasing apart how I've grown and changed over time. How do you rotate? You can undo things? What? Mouse wheel. There we go. I don't think I ever made use of the undo button. But I've been spending a lot of time thinking about that, and I'm not entirely sure why. Well, no, that's not true. I haven't had a lot else going on. I was pretty excited to settle in, relax once I got home, and I've been doing the hell out of that, and it's been great. It really has been. Oh my god. You know, it's a weird thing wanting the approval or... No, it's not a weird thing. I feel like it is kind of a default, let's say, to want people's approval. To want people to like you just at first blush. I don't know if I'm a first blush kind of person. Right? Like, I like me enough, but... I don't know, I'm weird. And I can be a lot. You know, to put it politely. And I do not want to apologize for myself, but I fall into the pattern of doing it more than I'd like. I did it a lot more when I was younger. But particularly, like, if I like someone, I get so flustered. And I second guess so much shit. Like, if I have a crush on someone. Like, they're friends I can just be around. Be like, I don't care what anyone thinks. And it feels honest at the time, and it is honest at the time. But then, like, knowing that someone you like or have a crush on is, like, even in the same fucking room as you, it's enough to make me be more aware of what I'm saying or how I'm saying it, how I'm standing, how I'm looking, how I'm feeling, in a way that with a more general audience, I wouldn't give a shit. And not in a sense of, like... I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, like... I don't know if that's something to work on or not. When I was younger, I remember writing, like, why do we write things in journals, right? Or in diaries, or why do you write poems or stories for an audience, right? So even in this act of creation, there's a consideration of an audience. For me, anyway, this constant nagging reminder of the other, of the not self, of the external world. And in this kind of fixated way, wanting to speak a certain way, to present a certain way, to act and feel a certain way, so as to meet expectations that I would never put on other people, but I just assume are put on me. I think we all do that to some extent, right? I don't want to be prescriptive in that sweeping statement, but I do think that is a common trait. I was gonna say failing, but trait. I don't like that I do it, though. I don't. I just want to be me? There is no self, right? There is no raw, unfiltered soul, true essence of a person. No. It's a very romantic notion, and it's kind of comforting to think of it in that sense. Like, that there is some you that can never be taken away, that is, like, completely organic and honest and intrinsic. But it's not really true. You know, who we are is a long, exhaustive grocery list of interacting and intermingling factors. And as social creatures, we're hyper aware of our audience, of our surroundings, of who and what we're around, who we're not. And so much is performance. And again, I don't mean to say performance in like, oh, you're so fake kind of way. Not at all. Not at all. Not in a judgmental, it's all an act. You know, we have this language that makes these judgment statements, right? Oh, they're just acting, they're faking, it's, you know, etc., etc., the kind of stuff I've been saying. So fucking what? Like, so much of human interaction is just acting and faking and performing. And we do it for ourselves to try and blend in. If we're uncomfortable, we try to do it to please or satisfy other people quite often. But we also do it out of a desire to belong, a desire to feel included, a worry of being othered, a fear of being recognized as not being part of this clique or this organization or this, you know, cell. Does that make it any easier, though? Not really. I just... You know, I talked about this a little bit just a few minutes ago, wrapping up the Let's Talk for the day. I long so much for genuine excitement and enthusiasm. Not from myself, not solely. I mean, yeah, I long for, you know, excitement and enthusiasm in my own life because it's fun and it's satisfying and it's gratifying. God, this is so much better than Hoi 4. Like, my ability to narrate over this and to talk and maintain a train of thought, no problem. Hoi 4, constant problems. But, yeah, I have this longing to be around people who are excited and happy, enthusiastic, and, like, driven. You know, not even happy, just driven. Just passionate. Just that they know they care about something and they're unabashedly, that was a 9, I didn't want that 9, I wanted a 13, unabashedly caring about it. Beautifully. When I talked about this feeling of, this satisfying feeling at witnessing the enthusiastic love that people had for each other at the wedding that I went to. That's part of it. right? Not just, you know, people loving one another, people showing up for one another, people having a beautiful community. Yeah, there's that, which I dearly miss and I dearly want, and feels so hard to find, to curate, to you know, foster. But also, just like letting people be excited about stuff without fear of judgment. Fear of, oh, I gotta act a certain way so that it doesn't scare people off, or it doesn't intimidate people, or it doesn't irritate people. Like, for so much of my life when I was younger, I was made time and time again to feel like I was too much. Like, too passionate, too excited, too crushing too much on someone. And, you know, there's a level of intensity. You gotta be sensitive to other people and their needs and feelings, and if they want to be around that. Totally. But this attitude that, like, you have to play it cool, or, this is particularly a thing that I was gendered to do, being raised male. You gotta play it cool, act like you're uninterested, play hard to get. And that whole fucking bullshit, if you like someone. No, like, I just want to crush, obviously, on someone, be like, hey, you're really cool, I really like you, I think you're really great. Like, for example, I've had someone on my mind, quite a bit that I've been low-key crushing on. And I'm just, like, I'm really glad that they exist, and they're really pretty. I really like listening to them talk. It's just, like, really nice. It's just a really nice feeling. And I don't like, in the past, feeling like I had to pretend or downplay being, you know, crushy and head over heelsy for people when I was. I mean, just because they don't feel the same way, that's okay. That's fine. You know, don't make it weird. Don't just fawn over them all the time. I mean, you can be happily be friends with that kind of soft and genuine enthusiasm and appreciation for someone. Very easily. I feel really old. I mean, I am about 30. It's only 7 months out. Well, less than 7 months, actually. And so much when I think about this upcoming birthday, when I think about this, you know, very artificial landmark, right? What I've been so often revisiting is this sense of sadness. Not like, oh wow, look at where I am at 30, you know, I could be doing so much better, making more money, partying more, fucking more, am I right? No, but just like, in all of the ways that, like, I've hurt myself and I've pushed myself and I've made myself be people that I'm not, perform to the expectations of different people, reject and deny parts of myself for what I assumed was, you know, my benefit, because I wanted people to like or approve of me in different ways. And we all do this. I mean, at the time, I'd be like, I don't do that. I'm just, like, genuinely me. And in some part, that's true. I mean, it wasn't a complete facsimile. It wasn't a complete lie. But there are things that I hid or censored or quieted about myself that hurt. That really, you know, quietly hurt. Not, like, dramatically, I can't do this anymore. It's too hard. But, like, you know, really soft and quiet agony. Think about the people that I've loved and my fears around loving them, my worry and hesitancy to care, to show that I care, to share that I care. It's heartbreaking. I don't really know what you're supposed to feel as you're nearing 30 or whatever landmark. I don't think you're supposed to feel anything, right? It's not prescriptive. But I am really I'm really glad to be on my own. I'm really glad to be doing okay on my own. Now, every time I talk about dating with folks, I keep repeating, like, God, I'm just, like, I'm so happy to not have to be trying. Like, to do the whole song and dance, to try to be impressing someone. Like, I just want to be comfortable. I want to be happy and comfortable, and I'd be thrilled to be with someone I have feelings for. Be thrilled. Be very happy, but I'm not dying for it. I'm not desperate for it. I'm not, like, so scared and sad that I'm alone. I'm not feeling like it's something about my worth as a human being that I'm not seeing someone or not seeing a bunch of people. Like, I'm not feeling that way at all. And in the past, especially when I was younger, I had that fear. I had that worry. Even in my first romantic relationship, I broke up with her. Now, we broke up with each other off and on, but the last time we dated, I broke up with her because I had this, like, burning fear of, like, what if I like somebody else more? What if, you know, I love you, but what if I could love someone else more? What if I could be with someone who's better for me? And of course, you know, at the time I did not phrase it well, explain it well, I didn't understand it well. Perfect is the enemy of good, right? And I don't like that phrase. I don't. Because I like the idea of perfect. I love the idea of perfect. Who doesn't? But it's true. It's true. This fear and concern and fixation on better, on perfect, has ruined so many good things for me. Now, has led me to ruin so many good things for myself, I should say. I wanna be specific in not using passive language to discard or dissuade my ownership. Right, it is mine. get 22 here? Nah, I'm only getting 21. That's fine. So yeah, I don't want to live with anyone right now, though. I don't want to live with anyone. I don't want to move in together with someone. I just would like to have someone I really like, who likes me, and have fun with that. And care. That's it. That's it. And I have that in friendships. Which is fine and good and nice. Not really. What I am actively longing for, like I talked about a little bit, what is this sense of community, this sense of belonging, this sense of solidarity, this sense of contribution to that group, right? Not just being a part of something big and beautiful and meaningful, but playing a role within that community, within that scene, within that culture, within that whatever, that helps enrich and benefit other people's lives. I'm really missing that. But I don't have that. And I don't really have a clear path to that. Like, so many people find that roundabout through their work, right? If you're lucky, you can find that through your work. And I think that's what I'm wanting. You know, I've been reminiscing occasionally about, like, places I've worked. And it's mostly just, like, from that kind of feeling. Now, I talk about this in interviews. Like, what I want so much is feeling like I'm a part of a team. I'm a part of a movement or a team or an organization or a cause, that I'm helping people, that we're building something together. I like feeling, seeing, hearing the value of my labor. And that's such a commodity. I mean, that's such a hard thing to get with work so often. With work, it's so often, in my experience, and in seemingly so many other people's experience, it's a means to an end. It's a means to a paycheck, right? You're just working to survive because you have to. You're not doing something because you love it. You're not doing something because you're good at it. You're not doing something because you want to. But because you have to. And even if you really like or enjoy or even love that thing, the work that you do, that obligation to it can be such a source of resentment. Such a source of resentment. My God. Where, you know, any enjoyment you had just kind of grows sour. No, don't miss that. You know, it's talked about a lot. As you get older, people reminisce about college or high school or whatever. And some people, like, genuinely, like, oh man, I just wish I could go back. And I'm trying to be generous here. What I interpret that as so often is people wanting that same sort of community, wanting that same sort of regular interaction with a lot of people, engagement with a lot of people, and feeling like you're a part of something better and bigger than yourself. And religion sure as fuck does this for a lot of people. You know, that feeling of community. I think a lot of people get it there. But that doesn't help me very much, because I am wildly irreligious. Emphatically irreligious. I don't, yeah, I don't know. And this is something I know I mentioned, I've talked about for years at this point, this distant thing, and you know, it's so nice to have folks living near me that I can actually see. It's so nice to not work all fucking night, every night, be locked away from the world like a goddamn goblin, like a vampire, and not be able to interact with the world. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm in such a better place than I was when I worked at, as a night auditor. Holy shit, fuck that. It sucks and I never want to do it again. But, you know, recovery is not the same thing as, just because you've healed from something, just because you've recovered from something, doesn't mean that you're done, right? There's no more work to do, that you're healthy, y'all cooked. You can just be content and happy in everything, because that sure is fucking true. I rambled on about this in a Let's Talk earlier in the week. It didn't make its way to YouTube. About just like, oh my god, there's so much going on in the world that fucking sucks. And I know we all know it, but no generation prior to this has had to deal to the same extent, I would posit, the constant existential dread and dilemma that pervades our modern world. I would make that argument. You know, the good old days weren't good old days, right? I love repeating that because it's very important. There were no good old days. There never will be any good old days. Everything is sucked forever. But we haven't always had billionaires. We haven't always had the climate collapse that we're having now. We haven't always had the incredible levels, disproportionate levels of wealth and power. They're now clearly, demonstrably, blatantly on display. We have not always had the agony of so much knowledge and so much access to what feel like clear solutions being consistently, actively, and repeatedly denied us. Right? Oh my god. And there is a real slow fucking exhaustion that comes with that. It's so easy to get caught up in it. I don't mean to do so here, and I'm starting to slip into it, but it's so easy to get overwhelmed by that. It's so easy to let that, like, control and dominate you. And, like, God, how do you live? How do you live? How do you live with these contradictions of climate change? Just to pull one name out of a hat is compounding and compounding and compounding, getting worse and worse and worse by the day. How do you live with that? How do you live with that and try to be happy? How do you live with the incredible systemic injustices done to minorities of all kinds in this country and across the globe? How do you live and try to find or try to make happiness when other people are just trying to survive? Like, it feels egregious at times to relax and have fun or order out or spend, like, any money on having fun, any money on, like, really enjoying myself when I'm conscious of just how fucked things are. when I'm conscious that, like, the little capital and power and control that I do have agency over. Yeah, my happiness is... I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the answer, what I'm programmed and expected to say is like, my happiness is important. Everyone's happiness is important. I don't know if I believe that. I honestly don't know if I believe that. I don't know that my happiness is important. Like, it feels important to me. Like, it's something I want because of the, you know, chemical feedback loop. But is it important? Is it more important than other people's lives? No. Is it more important than other people's security? No. Is it more important than, like... Yeah. Yeah, that's tricky. It's difficult. I don't really know how to navigate that. How to navigate that in a way that doesn't just slowly, surely, gently drive you fucking insane. I don't know how you live a life in this capitalist hellscape and don't become broken by it. I don't. I don't. I really don't. I've never understood that, and I've always struggled to try to understand that, and I don't know what path there is for me to being more mentally well, being depressed and anxious less often, to being happier, to being more even keeled. You know, all these ways that we are told is healthy to be. Or studies have proven that it is healthier and less stressful on your body to be. I don't see a pathway, a realistic pathway for myself. And I haven't for a long, long time. You know, like, there are things I can get to get temporary satisfaction. There are people I can be around who can make me feel good. There are things I can do to feel good. There are, you know, sensations and pleasures and ways to get hormones and feelings. But the existential hole in the world, the great gaping maw, echoing with the exhaustive depravity of our society. How do you navigate that? Like, how do you consistently navigate that? How do you look at this gaping wound in the heart of man, in the heart of humanity, and not want to just fucking break down inside of it? In the side of it. Or at the side of it, not inside of it. I don't know. I don't know. Like, you can't be sad all the time, and you can't cry all the time, and you can't weep and mourn and ache and hurt all the time. There have to be moments of laughter. There have to be moments of joy. There have to be moments of escapism and transcendent beauty. Because otherwise, you just stop living. One way or another, you stop living. I'd like to live. I would. I would. I don't have, you know, a 5-year plan. I don't have big goals or tangible dreams because, man, so many of those have been demonstrated so clearly to be so fleeting. I'm so hyper aware of the fragility of my existence and the existence of so much that I take for granted. It makes it hard to want more and seek it out. Because if you want more quietly, if you dream of it, if you ache for it, if your heart and soul fucking weep for it, that's one thing. But if you say it, if you let it out of your chest, if you let it out into the world, if you dare to hope, to dream, in truth, it can be denied, it can be taken. Worse, it can be given to you in a state that's so twisted and perverted and commodified. So saccharine, full of artificial injection that what was true and beautiful and meaningful and moving and exciting and hope-inspiring in the first place has all been ripped from it. Like skin from a ragged corpse. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Islanders that's so damn therapeutic for me. I don't know why I'm able to, or I feel comfortable being me. When I play Islanders, I don't. It's a shame, man. I totally get not wanting to watch Islanders. Like, as far as content goes, there's not a lot of, like, excitement. It's all pretty slow and repetitive. And I feel like the value of it is just the value that I bring to it. Which I really enjoy. Like, I love Islanders, but really the performance of Islanders on YouTube particularly, and fucking nobody watches this on Twitch. Fucking nobody watches Islanders on Twitch. On YouTube, typical video gets, in the first week, honestly, in the first few days, a dozen or a couple dozen views. If it does, okay. On YouTube, or on Twitch, on any given stream, I have like 4 or 5 people drop in, unless I've been, like, back when I was streaming nothing but U4, I would get dozens of people hanging out in chat. But again, I wasn't really happy playing that all the time, clearly. So I'm very happy for cozy chat when I can just talk to friends or people I have crushes on or people I've got to know or familiar, even new faces. But I gotta say, Twitch is particularly bad. A lot of people put the onus on the streamer to carry the conversation. Like, popping in, nobody did it today, I had to check. Being like, hey, how are you doing today? How's it going? Good. I guess. Fine. And like, I'll talk about what's going on. But do you want me to then ask, how are you doing? Because this isn't a conversation. This is a conversation, like, you're not on camera, right? Chat is not on camera. Even if I had chat pulled up, you physically are not on camera. You are not consistently the product that is being broadcasted. You are not the streamer, right? And the streamer is the focus. I don't know. Also, I don't give a shit how random people are doing. I don't. People I like, I care. Like, people who've been in chat today, I care. And I like. Everyone who I've seen in chat today, I like. Quite a bit. But randos, I don't give a shit. I'm so quick on the ban hammer. If people are just like slightly annoying, get the fuck out. I don't do this for a living, right? I just do this for fun. And maybe like a sense of community, maybe. Not really. I don't really have a sense of community. YouTube, it's people commenting, asking me for specific things most of the time, and that a community does not make. Twitch, there's a few people seeing on here, yes, but like probably, nah, it's me. It's me. It's really just me. And like I'm oddly satisfied in that. I'm oddly satisfied in. I like lonely fun. I do. I like being alone. I do. Pretty consistently. As such an introvert, I don't believe that introverts and extroverts really exist. The science isn't there. The philosophy is flawed. And these studies suggesting the... What's the word, Alex? Veracity of them are very much in question. That said, I definitely have a, you know, certain amount of time and energy I'm willing to allocate to other people. Not because, like, I hate people. People suck. No, I love people. I love people. But I get so tired and worn down and just, like, need to crawl into my little hole and be alone. I just need to retreat from the world, recharge, retreat from people because I care. I care about people. And I'll do a lot of emotional work for people, and I'll put myself out there for people, and I'll, like, go to bat for people. No, this is bad. None of this is bad. But it can wear you the fuck down. Like, it's a difficult thing when you are an emotionally intelligent person or whatever. And the friendships you have, or the people who consider you to be their friend, so often can just be using you as emotional support. First and foremost, using you as a therapist friend. And quite often, that road does not go both ways. Absolutely not. That road does not go both ways. That sucks. That sucks real fucking hard. As I have people in my life that I have talked to night after night after night for weeks while they were tired and drunk and sad about all the things going on in their life. But if they don't need me, they don't see how I'm doing, they don't say hi, they don't check in, they don't engage. They don't engage really with a lot of the stuff I do, not with the art I make, the politics I talk about. Like, they'll notice it and they'll bring it up that they noticed it. But so many fucking people are so goddamn self-invested, self-interested, and wrapped up in their own stupid, minuscule, insignificant little dipshit world that if you're not coming to them, offering them something, they don't care. Yeah, you know, I'm not immune to this. I'm not trying to grandstand and be like, ooh, I'm perfect. I don't do this. I always care. I don't always care. But I don't go to people and use them for emotional work, emotional labor, emotional support, and fucking leave them high and dry. And it's not like one person is doing this. So many people in my life have done this. So many people fucking suck at handling their own shit. Can't be there for me when I need people there. And yet are just, like, insistently dependent. Ugh. I don't know. It feels rude, cruel to complain about. Yeah, but they trusted you. You know, you're taking this really cynically. Maybe you should focus on the fact that they know and value what you think, what you feel, and your insights. Like, you know, a lot of people really need someone like you, and yada 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 yada. But fuck that. Pay me. Pay me! If I am just your friend therapist, pay me. So, you know, and y'all talk about I miss having community. I miss having a type of community. I miss having specific things that come with community, but people exhaust me because people, broadly, are emotionally underdeveloped, lack serious self-awareness, and are just users. Are users and really, like, ungrateful little shit users at the same time. Is that a cynical enough take? That a bitter enough take? I'm not trying to just be bitter and mean. I'm really not, but you know, maybe I am. Maybe I am. Maybe that's just an irreversible, irrevocable part of myself. And it's not. It's not. It's a fucking thing. Like, I do possess these qualities of having bitterness, feeling resentment. But it doesn't define me. Or at least I don't want it to define me. But I feel compelled to let it define me, compelled to define myself by it. Like this genre of skeptical, cynical this, skeptical that, is presented as like a valid, or I don't know, a way to exist. Being so self-invested and self-inflated that you only need yourself and you only care about yourself, and everybody else are idiots, and you know, you're the sole source of light and reason in this cold, dark existence, right? I don't want to be that. I don't want to be critical all the time. I don't want to be cynical all the time. I don't want to constantly be the only one in the fucking room casting shadows, raining on people's parades. I want other people around me who will take up that emotional work, who will step in that capacity, who will care critically about things, who will consider things analytically, who will engage in the world with a sharp academic lens. I don't want to be alone in that. I don't want to feel stuck in that either. I don't know, maybe I am. And, you know, there are worse things to be. I'm not hateful, I'm not cruel. I'm tired. I'm sad. But I care. I care about people. I care about myself. I care about the past. I care about dumb little things and meaningful giant things. I care about sentiments. I care about poetry. I care about silliness. You know, I'm not living a life bereft of value and meaning and satisfaction. I live a life graced with transcendent moments of beauty, of instances and happenstances. Happenstances? Happenstances, not happenstances. That leave me incredibly grateful. Feeling not blessed, but enthused, right? Appreciative. And yeah, I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm sad at how much hurt there is in the world. I'm sad at how much hurt I feel personally. I'm sad at my isolation. I'm sad at the ways that so many things have eaten away at me. At ways that I question and I fear and I doubt and I hurt. And, you know, I don't want to not be sad about that, is the thing. I don't want to be indifferent. I don't want to be happy. I want to be affected by things that affect me. I want to be sad by the things that sadden me. I want to feel crushed and lost in the wake of so much doubt and fear and uncertainty in our everyday lives, my everyday life. I want to feel human and soft and vulnerable. I want the capacity. I don't want to go numb to it. What I want are solutions to problems. What I want are ways to heal. What I want are ways to build. I don't want it to not bother me. I don't want to just go numb, right? Because it's so easy to go numb. It's so easy to tighten your jaw, grit your teeth, and speak out of haughty spite, frustration, anger, and bitterness. It's so easy to clamp down on the pain inside of you and make it everybody else's problem. To embody it in the world and express it in the world where you get a sick satisfaction out of not being the only one stuck feeling it. I don't want that. It's easy. If I wanted, you know, some kind of cheap release, I could find it through that. I can make it through that so easily. So easily. Like, it's not hard to cope. It's not hard to cope with reality. Coping with reality is easy, but doing it in a way that is good for you, improves you, makes you accessible to other people in a healthy way, in a way that helps you become a better person, coping and existing in a way that isn't deeply, utterly, tragically toxic is, you know, that's a different story altogether. That's quite a bit harder. Ugh. I'm I'm embarrassed by the Hoi 4 stream earlier and how fucking tilted I got. Because I wasn't being very self-aware, and if most people in my Twitch audience were watching, I wouldn't care. But I was hyper aware that, like, man, this is a really shitty me right now, and, like, there's someone watching that I actually care what they think about me. Like, this sucks. Like, I'm not having a good time. This sucks. I can't pivot naturally. Like, I'm really embarrassed. This blows. So I did, you know, make a little apology. Like, this is a terrible first impression of my stream. Because, like, I've just salty as all hell. You know, it happens. It happens. And talking about presentation and masking and performance earlier, it, you know, genuinely, we all contain multitudes, right? And sometimes you just gotta be that shitty little salt devil. Sometimes that's who you are. And I feel like it's a greater tragedy to try to hide or obfuscate or bury that than in those moments embracing it. You know, hopefully you find a way to embrace it in a positive way, in a constructive way, in a meaningful way that helps you communicate and connect with other people. I was not doing that earlier. What I was doing was raging at the dying of a campaign of, you know, 10-ish hours of content. You know, understandable. But I don't like getting tilted, dog. And I don't really think it's fun when people get tilted. I don't. Like, it's sad. And it's... like, they feel bad, and then, especially when folks do this for a living, like, they can panic! They can panic and worry that, like, oh, fuck, you know, the community's not gonna like this, people aren't gonna like me, people aren't gonna subscribe, people aren't gonna watch this, people aren't gonna follow, and then what am I gonna do? And then you can just start fucking spiraling. It sucks. It sucks. I feel like there's a great injustice in this expectation of this performance, particularly when it's so invested in people's ability to survive, right? Like, or ability to make ends meet, or what have you. I wish we had more frank and consistent conversations about feeling certain ways, about worrying about certain things, and having spaces where it didn't feel invasive to explore that, right? Yeah. Yeah. Man, this is a good game. It's so simple, but god damn, I don't like the temple. It's so satisfying. I'm pretty sure we lose here, which is good because it's been about an hour and I want it to go for about an hour. Problem is, if you get too good at this game, they get longer and longer. I remember when I was playing it before, I kept getting better and better at the game, so it kept going longer and longer. And I love the sound of my own voice, right? I wouldn't do this if I didn't. But at a certain point, even I've had my fill. So I don't know. I'm doing okay. I'm not doing okay, but I'm surviving. You know, I'm sad and I'm heartbroken and I am as wrenched apart by everything going on as so many of us are. But I'm here, and I'm not broken. I'm not broken. I think that's the takeaway. I hate being asked how I'm doing. I hate it so much. Oh, how you doing? Not good, champ. I mean, like, I'm alive, I guess. But like, most of the time, not really that good, dude. Not really that good. You've been watching the news? You've been listening to what's going on in the world? You keenly aware of the vast systemic failures engulfing us and throwing us onto the pyre for just a little bit more profit? You bearing witness to the great disdain for humanity that's been the United States during this pandemic? The ready enthusiasm with which it will throw away human lives in order to maintain some vague semblance of comfort? If you're doing well in this, I don't want to know you. Alright, we lose. Just give me the full negative 120. Add insult to injury, yeah. Oh, done. Oh, done. That is less than half of my best score. Good God. That's crazy. I probably could have got a higher score if I kept on every island until I couldn't go anymore and then skip to the next. Okay, no, that is such a better place to wrap up for the day. Such a better place than Hoi 4. Man, that's why I don't like playing those games. I don't like who I become. This, I like who I become. It's very self-indulgent. God bless all of you who actually watch this. There are very few of you, I know. Like, man, I'm not even always interested in my own ceaseless ramblings. Ooh, but when I am, it's good shit. It's good shit. Alrighty. Well, if you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Twitch, either way, this is it for today. Until later or tomorrow, in whatever case, I'm gonna say toodaloo. Take care. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye.